So, as we look at that, there are other potential markets out there for as well, fellow presenters. During the course of my time in the business as a musician and as an administrator, I've been able to develop close friendships with a group called Music from Angel Fire in New Mexico, Albuquerque Chamber Music in New Mexico, the Moab Music Festival up in Utah, also with the Yavapai Symphony Association, which hosts the Phoenix Symphony in Prescott, the Phoenix Chamber Music Society, the NAU School of Music, and the Flagstaff Symphony. So we do trade ads with one another to help promote what we do and look at who is a natural market. These people that go to these programs are the first and foremost that will attend these programs once they know about it, once they learn about it. So as we run these exchange ads with each of the groups, we find that there's a little bit of effect that we're able to move people and get them there. All not-for-profits, which includes churches, it includes social organizations, it includes educational organizations that must have a mission, which ties into the organizational objectives from which one draws them. So the mission of Chamber Music Sedona is to enrich the lives of Northern Arizona residents and visitors by presenting the finest international, national, and regional performing artists, and to promote the love of performing arts through arts education programs. I'll make all this information available to Mr. Hostetler, and he can give it to you as he would like.
Right, yeah, anything from the notes today.
Yeah, you'll get everything verbatim. Everything. So, as we look at things, as I said, Chamber Music Sedona is in the process of reorganizing during the 15-16 season. And we will present 4 world-class concerts, including one with, remember when you heard Mr. Candelakis say, Mr. Brown is my pianist, he's my friend, and he's mine. Remember when he said that? I don't say it quite that enthusiastically about my wife. My wife Rita will be playing with one of the ensembles. The first group that comes in is in January, when Candelakis and his group comes in to play with 3 fellow musicians. They were here last year at NAU to do a concert as well. That takes place in January as part of a residency. So what happens is these guys will come into town on a Monday. They'll spend their time at the Hilton down in Sedona. They'll get all rested, they'll get all rehearsed. First night, Nick is a filmmaker. And by virtue of him doing these conversations with Nick, he was in a film called The Late Quartet. Did you hear that? It's about a string quartet where all the members were aging and there were some personal conflicts. There were some interpersonal relationships that were going on to the side and creating all sorts of havoc. And this fellow, I forget that fellow that played cello, really didn't know a whole lot other than Yo-Yo Ma played cello. So when they were doing the filming, Nick was there on site saying, all right, you need to move your hand like this, you move your hand. Anyway, you have personalities like this that can shine and share a sense of exuberance and enthusiasm. It really is a wonderful thing to do.
Yeah. Just because you're talking about any interruption, but the concerts in the season, because I want to make sure we're on the same page. When we were at lunch, and you mentioned here about the 16-17 season.
Yeah.
So that would start timing-wise in the fall,
right,
correct?
Right.
And then run through January 17. So when you were talking now, just you mentioned January, did you mean this January or January 17?
So we run our season as you run your academic season. You start in September, August, September. Typically we start in September, and we finish our season in May, which is when school finishes up, right? So we run as an academic season. So in the planning process, I've got all sorts of people that send me CDs, send me information, send me emails, send me phone calls, send me texts. We want to come to Sedona and play. We want to come to Sedona and play. And I have to go through all the different interested parties, call them through, and try to provide a balance into what we do to the point where it really makes a whole lot of sense. Let me finish up here. Just keep on task where I'm going. But as we reorganize for the 15-16 season, we'll do 4 concerts. 1 in January, 1 in February, 1 in March, and 1 in April. And when you go to the website, I think you'll be able to see this a little bit more as it's coming and taking phase. So as we are in this process, we want to put together a marketing plan for the 16-17 season that will be based on expanding from where we are with 4 concerts this year to 6 concerts. We will do within those 6 concerts 2 residencies, which will allow us to integrate the musicians and the artists into the community so that they're put into a film situation. They're put into in-school programs. They're put into a house concert. They're put into visits to a hospital. They're put into a variety of different applications that take them out of the concert hall with the hopes that once you see them at the hospital or in any of these other locations, just say, hey, I'm curious. I'll take my chance and go. And when you see these people share their personalities as they do, it's that much more compelling to go see and be part of. So artistic selection for us will begin in November of this year and will conclude in February of 2016. This in time to begin our grant applications to the Arizona Commission on the Arts, the National Endowment for the Arts, the Arizona Community Foundation, the City of Sedona, and others. So as we delve into these different ideas and opportunities, developing a marketing plan for 16-17 is our objective with all of you. So, as we look at things, just to give you some round numbers, revenues, membership expenses, including the market budget, Mr. Hostetler asked me to share with you. Our ticket revenues will constitute about 18% of our budget. Not a whole lot. It needs to increase. And as you look at our price points within our organization, we are moving those price points up this year as a trial for the 16-17 season to see how well they're embraced. Our concert sponsors, people that say, yes, we'll give you money to make this program possible, since Johann Sebastian Bach's day and Mozart's day, these programs never made it on their own. They always require kings and queens to step forward and provide funding monies. There's several families in Flagstaff that are at the top of the list that do this with the symphony, do this with a variety of organizations, and those are the people that have the wealth, that have the passion to make these things work. So within our concert sponsors, we expect to bring in about 15% of our annual budget in that line item. When it comes time for donor contributions, as charitable contributions, we expect to bring in nearly $79,000 in charitable contributions. That represents approximately 33% of our budget. With grants between granting organizations and government organizations, this will constitute about a 17% element of our budget. That includes the organizations I mentioned earlier. Another important component is advertising. This is our playbill. I'll leave it here. You guys can look at it, whatever you want to do with it. I've also got a couple CDs here for you. But within here, advertisers make up a very, very important part of what we do. Whether it's an insurance company or the violin maker here in town, or my physical therapist that keeps me from being in great pain because I'm getting older. I didn't take care of myself when I threw baseballs faster than I could imagine, and it's hard to pick up a pencil. Advertising will constitute about 9% of our budget. Educational services, our in-school programs, will constitute about 3%, and then the special events will make up the balance. So when it looks time for making money, my job this year, in its many facets, is to raise approximately $212,000. It's not a whole lot of money when you break it down. The expenses that balance those income streams include operations. In other words, what our headquarters expenses are, what our venue expenses are, what telephone, internet, any of those things cost. Also takes care of administrative services. My job as executive director has taken a sharp hit this year, but I'm still very committed and very passionate about what we're doing. And then the artistic component is the other element to this all. And again, you are the company you keep. And when you keep good company, good things happen to you across the board, whether that's in any facet. And with regards to this year, when I went to all of the different musicians, I told them what the situation we're facing and reorganizing the season. I said, this is what I can offer. They said, we want to come to Sedona, we're going to help you rebuild, we want to be part of your success. So for me, that was a very important component. So negotiating in any situation, whether you're buying a car, whether you're buying a house, you've got to get out there and negotiate. So as we look at things, chamber music is a wonderful medium of expression. When it's performed by young people, I've found that the old people in Sedona, I'm getting more gray hair every day, my demographic likes to see you young people there in their faces recreating the great music of Mozart and Beethoven and Strauss and Schubert. Why? Because they identify with you. And when you look at these things, you are, again, the company you keep. And when you keep that kind of company, people are enthused, people are passionate, they're engaged, and when you have people to share something about their lives, as you saw with these interviews with Nick, where they're poking fun at people, how do we share that with other people so that they say, I want to go see what chamber music is all about and be part of it. So when I look at who else is in town in Sedona, who is our competition, and it is competition, I don't care how you say it. There's a group called the Verde Valley Sinfonietta, which is a community chamber orchestra. The musicians are paid, the quality of the performances is good, and all due respect, doesn't hold a candle to what we do. And that's okay, because it's a community-oriented group. Just like the Flagstaff Symphony. When my wife and I came here 22 years ago and heard the symphony the first time, having worked earlier in the San Diego Symphony, I said to Rita, this isn't the San Diego Symphony. When we got to San Diego, having moved from Orange County, where we went to see the LA Philharmonic on a regular basis, I said to Rita, this ain't the LA Philharmonic. And so when we look at things, it's all relative to where you are. So how we can approach marketing and chamber music within this community is something I don't have all the answers to. I know the Shell answer man who lives in town, he's a good friend. But the point is that we need to think differently, we need to act differently, we need to approach people differently, and we need to look in this brave new world in ways that we can pull in the resources you all bring. There are names that some of you said here today that I knew, some that I didn't know. And so I'm interested in expanding my horizons, just as I'm interested in expanding your horizons, to see how we can be more successful doing what we can do. As we retrench and reorganize this year, it's a perfect time to put together ideas and say, all right, Bert, you might want to try this. You know, you need to be more active on Facebook. You need to have your what are they doing on Thursdays? The kickback Thursdays or something like that. You need to start doing more tweets. You need to start doing more of this and that and the other. I don't have all the answers, and that's why when Mr. Hostetler and I sat down and talked about this, I saw an opportunity to provide you all with an experience that could be very meaningful, and that you could take with you as you move forward into your lives, no matter what you do. Because whatever you do, you're going to have to sell yourself, whether it's an interview, whatever the picture may be. And with that in mind, a not-for-profit group is not there to make money. A not-for-profit group is there to balance a budget, to have a zero bottom line at the end of the year so you don't have red tape. And how you get to that point requires a lot of thinking, strategically, artistically, and socially, to get more people involved.